everyone, this is Babamots. Welcome to some more Homeworlds commentary. This is JuankyEND versus fiendmonger. I think we've seen JuankyEND on the channel a few times before. Fiendmonger, I don't remember ever casting before, but looking past some old games, I saw that they'd been playing a fair amount, and so I thought I'd see how they do. Juanky takes blue-red banker. Fiendmonger takes a red-blue banker. Okay, so double banker, small universe, both homes connected only to large stars, but the small stars in the two homes are offset from each other, so no color has an enormous head start. Okay, Wonky trades for the red, so does Fiendmonger. Both get to build a medium. All right, now, so Wonky gets an interesting choice. They block access to the larger ships, trading for the blue. Monger goes for the other small blue, so they each get a medium blue. And we're back to an interesting choice. At some point, they're going to trade for yellow, I'm sure. Juan will want to decide carefully if they want that to be the medium or the small blue, I think. Yeah, small, okay. And Fiend goes for the... I guess if it's a fiendmonger, it's a monger of fiends, so the right noun for them would be the monger, but fiend seems easier. Juan moves out, spreads out the blue. Fiend takes another green. Okay, so definitely some interesting departures from mirroring here. I often like to, well, in my head, a person who has control of more stars is often ahead, even if they're equal in material. So I might like Juan's position slightly better. Fiend keeps going with the red. Okay, nothing too strange. Okay, Juan trades for a medium yellow now. Since this is a small universe, sacrificing a medium yellow can bring a ship all the way from one home to the other. So that puts Fiend's red star in danger. They'll want to trade or move a red. I think they ought to spread them out. The red larges are close to opening up, so Fiend having an advantage in red ships could be important. And they, okay, I was going to say they should move it to a green system where they could build the medium and the small and large if they become available, but there are no large greens left in the bank, so they'll make do with a yellow. They might want to move that red to a green system on the next turn, even. But Juan takes a blue, and now Fiend probably wants to respond to their blue star being in danger. Juan could sacrifice the Y2 to bring in both blues to get Fiend's blue star, so Fiend moves out. Fiend is needing to be fairly reactive. Last couple of turns here. Juan takes another green. I think of building a small green as being one of the most passive turns, usually. You don't know what else to do. You want to build something, and, well, there's no better option, so I guess I'll just take that little green. Okay, I mean, not that it's bad. It's just kind of bland. Not a lot to say about it yet, and yet I have. Okay, move to green forward. So if the larger blues or reds open up, Fiend is ready. Juan has spread out their blues, so if the larger blues open up, then Juan is ready. But I think neither player is going to want to build another red or or blue for a bit here. Fiend could build that little red if they wanted, since Juan can't safely build the large red at home. They'd have 3 reds together, and Fiend could cheaply overpopulate the red star. Fiend takes that, yeah, medium green. And Juan's not going to be able to build a medium green. So that feels good, getting ahead by coming up in material by a medium. Oh, no, no, no. Juan, pay attention. Juan will take that back, I'm sure. Yes. 3 greens at home with a little green in a connected system. That's trouble. Okay, Juan moves out to a large blue. That gives Juan lots of space to build the medium greens now. Fiend trades out for a medium yellow. I sort of don't like that. Just because Fiend was closer to a factory a moment ago. In fact, they technically could have done a factory move. Ooh. Yeah, I think I want Fiend to take that back. Sacrifice the G3, build 2 mediums in the colony, and rebuild their G3 at home. Something that often happens to factories is that they force you to have a factory involves 2 greens at the same system, and if your opponent gets 2 greens in connected systems, then they're threatening to overpopulate your large ship. But if Fiend were to factory right now, they'd clean out the green bank, and Juan wouldn't be able to get enough green to overpopulate. The best Juan could do is get their load green back home and have a factory of their own, I think. But Fiend commits to this. Okay, they traded away their factory. Now, if Juan takes that medium green, no, not yet. Fiend builds the medium green out in the colony. Okay, yeah, Juan builds it at home. So Juan will have a factory if they keep that move. No, they take it back. Yellow shopping spree. Would actually be okay if I kept clicking, but if Juan were to do a yellow shopping spree here, it would leave a large yellow in the bank, but Fiend wouldn't want to build it because Juan could move in the medium yellow to overpopulate. So they commit to just a G2 build in the colony. So that will discourage Fiendmonger from building a G2 at home. Since Juan could overpopulate, they could build it in the colony, which Juan could also overpopulate, but at less cost to Fiend. Fiend is spreading out the yellows instead. Juan builds a yellow. Okay. I think Fiend doesn't quite want to shopping spree the yellows here. One thing about shopping sprees in one color is that if you've only got 2 ships of that color, 2 systems in which to build them, then somewhere you're going to have 3 ships of the same color. And you usually want that to be a place that you don't mind getting overpopulated. And I don't think that's the case for Fiend here. Okay, moving yellow out to Pandora here. Threatening the little blue. Fiend doesn't have a lot of red, so sacrificing the red might not feel great. Oh, okay, yep. And Juan's found a good move, I think. They're sacrificing the G2. They're going to build their way into a defense on Pandora, and it's just generally not a bad move. Fiend can build the other B3, but they can't both build the B3 and save the Y2, the invader that has become threatened. Fiend's gonna build the B3. Yep. Okay, but the other thing is while Juan can capture the Y2, they'll be sacrificing their only red ship to do it. Do they choose that? No. They're building green. Okay. It's the biggest ship available to them to build immediately. You know, with a G2, now that they've built a G2 again, a G2 sacrifice would let them do things like leapfrog again. They leapfrogged the medium blue to build that B3, and here with another G2 sacrifice, they could get large yellow, though Fiend is going to get the large yellow right after, so it's a maybe not perfect. It's funny when you leapfrog a color to get to build a large ship, but then there's one left over for your opponent. So yeah, you got to leapfrog, but then your opponent also gets to have a lot of the benefit of that because you've opened up the larges for them. Okay, let's see what happens next. Fiend moved Y2. Okay, we've got systems of all three sizes now, so the connectivity is a little strange, but the middle row is the largest that are connected to both homes. Okay, so they saved their yellow. Juan now, by trading B3 for Y3, they give themselves a lot of maneuverability. They've put a B3 back in the bank, which Juan is in a better position to rebuild. But they've also made it so the bank is just the two yellows. So Fiend, if Juan commits to this and I'm Fiend, I think I sacrifice the G2 to build the Y1, probably the Y1 at home and the Y3 in the colony. And that's, well, Fiend was thinking about it anyway. But thinking about the other way around. Yeah, I think I would probably do that even though Juan is about to get the, well, yeah, Fiend got up by another large, and Juan is going to get up by another large as well. We'll build B3. Oh, sacrifice the G2 to build the B3. Okay, they wanted their G2 back at home. Okay, the advantage I see in that over simply building the B3 is it gets that G2 out of Krypton so that if Fiend decides to invade with the Y3, there's less to capture there. Simply building the G2. So I think Juan's got two colonies that are ripe for invasion. And I think Krypton's the better one to invade. I think invading Krypton with the Y3 is probably Fiend's best colony invasion. Fiend pushing the little blue forward into Pandora, where Juan would like to be building the B3. And in fact, oh yeah, Juan ended up just building the G2 instead of the B3. I don't know why they did that. But this, as far as I can see, doesn't really improve things from Fiend's perspective. I think Fiend ought to be discovering that B3 as a star. They don't have enough blue to put overpopulation pressure on Juan's upcoming B3 build. Or rather, they do, but they'll be losing their own B3 to do it. And Juan... Oh, I guess... Oh, that's right, that's right. When I had already written off Fiend's gain of a Y3 because, oh, Juan's just going to build that B3. But actually, since Juan didn't take it immediately, Fiend, well, let's, okay. Suffice to say that it's worth Fiend's using up their B3 to overpopulate Juan's upcoming B3 because Fiend will still be up by a large ship. Or that's more or less how I see it. Although Fiend is down in other ships, Juan's got a lot more medium ships out here in the colonies. So Juan now sacrificing the B1 to trade for more red. Juan does need more red, and this puts overpopulation pressure, in fact, on Fiend's home. Red home star. I don't think that's bad. Sacrificing a B2. Well, let's fast forward a little and see what they decide on. Sacrificing the Y3 for a overpopulation? No. Cheap factory build. Okay. So they commit to the factory build of the B3 and the red 1. Fiend is then left with problematic situation. Fiend has not dealt with these colonies. They've grown into real powerhouses. And so Fiend needs to get this red 1 out of there, or Juan's going to overpopulate his star. And Juan's got 2 blues outside of Fiend's home, and it has some more blue elsewhere that Juan could take out Fiend's other star pretty soon after. But Fiend would really like to build that R3 out here in the colony, but they can't. They've got to deal with the... well, I don't think they should. I think they've got to deal with that threat to the red star. Well, okay, maybe they don't really need to deal with it just yet. Juan could destroy Fiend's red star, but if they did, Juan wouldn't have any red ships anymore, and Fiend could invade with 2 large ships and start capturing everything. Question then is, would Juan be able to destroy... But even then, I think Fiend might be able to destroy... I think Juan might be able to destroy Fiend's blue star before Fiend could capture everything in Juan's home. Let's see. Overall, I've been pretty impressed with this game. A few choices I wouldn't have made, a few things that were almost mistakes, I think. So I guess the biggest mistake to my mind is that Fiend has not invaded those colonies. I think Fiend should have long ago sent either their mothership to Oz or their Y3 to Krypton and start capturing stuff. Because as it is, Juan is pretty close to threatening victory. If they're not there already. Fiend moving that red 1 out of their home gets rid of the overpopulation danger, but it's just handing Juan a red ship. Oh no! Juan doesn't even have to sacrifice to capture it because it's a red star. Okay, well... Oh, Fiend, I thought you were playing pretty darn well. But that's just straight up blunder. Sacrificing Y3 to blow up the blue star. Okay. Juan doesn't have enough red to finish this off. Sacrificing red 1 to capture. Huh. It looks like neither player realized And I just because I've seen no Juan's played a lot. I've seen they've. I'm gonna look up later just how many games Juan has played. I mean, is it weird to do it on stream? Okay, I'm gonna. All right, Juan has played 1,365 games. Out of those, 195 have been Homeworlds. Okay, so yeah, Juan's no noob, but they sacrificed for that capture. You can okay to be completely explicit here. You can use the power of a star. Any ship stationed at a star can use the power of the star. So either player could have captured here in the aerial colony. And Juan should have captured as soon as Fiend moved the little red ship in. Okay, Fiend now sacrificing Y2 in their home world. Okay. I think it's too late. In fact, I'm sure it's too late. Well, Juan does kind of need the Y2 to finish off this invasion. So this attack might just be in time, especially if Juan hasn't quite got it calculated correctly. And I'm not positive myself, but if I think Juan might still have the victory even with this invasion. Well, maybe not. I think that might be threatening just enough of the pieces of Juan's Doomsday Machine. But anyway, I think there's a good chance Juan won't be able to see a way to finish their Doomsday plan with this invader in their face, so they'll do something a little different. Okay. I think moving in 3 blues is not the answer. I think getting more out of the threat colony is better, yeah. So this is quite possibly the right move. Fiend sacrificing G3 to build. Ooh. Nice. Okay. They did a factory build, a green teleporting factory build to get their G3 out of their homeworld and gobble up the rest of the red ships. They had red ships in 2 systems where they could safely build. So Juan is not going to be able to get enough red to finish off Fiendmonger's other homestar. Nice. Okay. Wow. Fiend, well done. Good eye. Okay, Juan looking at a factory build, sacrificing the G3, rebuild the G3. Oh, I thought they were going to build those 2 medium yellows, which wouldn't have been bad. Okay, sacrifices Y3. Oh, you know what it is. Well, no, even that's not enough. Okay, so the thing I was thinking, let me get my whiteboard up here, see if that'll help. Okay, so the Y3, this doesn't quite work, but what I was thinking was Juan moves red and blue in from aerial. The R3 star goes back to the bank, and they move in. The other red, the blues are destroyed in a catastrophe, and Juan has 2 reds in Fiend's home, and there's now a red piece in the bank that Juan could sacrifice a green somewhere and build that last red for the winning overpopulation. But the problem with that is that Fiend has 1 turn in between to sacrifice a red 2 to capture both of the invading reds. Juan now has no red anywhere and can't finish off Fiend's other star. So that plan is almost right, and I love that it involves putting a red ship back in the bank at the last second, but it's not quite going to work. Okay, looks like that's almost what they had in mind. Maybe they realized it wouldn't work. Oh, there's another idea. Just going after. Wait. Oh. Okay, let's see if they take this back. Rather than building these two yellows, so it looks like Juan is now is going to try to overpopulate Fiend's mothership. But instead of that, what if Juan sacrificed their B3 to trade both of these yellows, both of these blues for yellow? Fiend, well, I mean, Fiend could sacrifice yellow to reinforce with red, but I don't know, somehow anything with anything that's viable with blue sacrifices is funny to me. But this is not a good move. Juan has just put a bunch of yellow in the same colony, and Fiend can just move a little yellow into Pandora and blow it all up. Yeah, I don't. Huh. I thought that Fiend was going to be the newer player here. We've seen. Okay, we look at Juanky's profile. Let's look at Fiend's too. They've played fewer games overall. They've played 17 games of Homeworlds. Okay, so I've seen Juan's name a lot in the replays. Fiend not so much, but yeah, Fiend giving us a good game here. Yeah, I think that was the right choice for Fiend. Juan, though. Trading the B3 for Y3. Yeah, they need more maneuverability. Gosh. I'm not sure what to think about this. I guess the one thing that does, it puts the B3 back in the bank, and if Fiend for some reason doesn't build it, then Juan would be able to build it with like a G2 sacrifice, build the B3 and then rebuild the G2. But I think they're just giving Fiend a ship to build. They can build it in the colony. Yeah, that's what Fiend's gonna do. Juan gets another factory. Both in the colony? You just lost a bunch of ships to doing that. That's better. Okay. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere though. I think Fiend now has, well, but Fiend doesn't want to sacrifice their Y3 since it's their mothership. But otherwise, Fiend's getting pretty close to victory themselves here. Okay, finally getting that Y1 out of danger in Oz. Sacrificing it to bring a red over to Pandora. That's just giving Fiend a free ship. Fiend can sacrifice. Well, no, well, Fiend can sacrifice R1 to capture it. Juan can sacrifice R2 to capture it back, along with the blue. But I don't think they're making headway. Okay, sacrificing Y3. What can they get done with that? Moving 3 ships of 3 different colors into Fiend's home. Usually when I do something like that, I'm just spitballing, hoping to confuse the situation. But it overpopulates the blue star. Yeah. And Juan is threatening 2 different overpopulations at once. They're well, not threatening exactly. Juan can't build into a red overpopulation because there's not enough red. They can't move their way into a red overpopulation because they don't have enough red ships. And likewise, they can't build their way into a yellow overpopulation because there aren't enough yellow ships. There aren't enough yellow ones in the bank. They have enough yellow to overpopulate the mothership, but it's not in connected systems. They'd have to sacrifice the Y2 to move the two little yellows into Fiend's home, but Juan's home is not connected to Fiend's home, so that doesn't work. And even if any of those would have worked, well, if any of the growths would have worked, Fiend can sacrifice an R2 to capture both of these guys, and then Juan is really no closer to anything. Fiend, though, sacrificing Y2 to bring two reds into Juan's home. Okay. Well, that's... yeah, if Fiend sees a way to victory from right here, I think they're still a couple of setup moves away, but let's see. I guess this works. Fiend will have to sacrifice their mothership at the end. But this could do... Oh, well, or just this guy. Okay, this can work. This can work. Juan is going to be really out of ships if they don't capture both of these. And then Fiend can blow them all up by moving in the medium red. Juan now. Okay, sacrificing Y2. Is there anything they can do? I don't think so. Factory build. Oh! Oh, heck. Oh, heck. Fiend. Okay, well, I didn't see that at first either. By sacrificing a yellow, they put another yellow in the bank, and that's what Juan needed. They did a factory build to build the yellow that used to be in the bank and the yellow that Fiend just put there for the winning overpopulation. Oh, golly. Oh, Fiend had that in the bag. Fiend absolutely had that. Oh, wow. All right, well, great game by both players. I really, really enjoyed that. Mistakes from Fiend. Those colonies should have been invaded much earlier, and most of all, Fiend had this game won if you are staving off defeat by a narrow margin just because there's not quite enough of some color in the bank. You need to be absolutely sure that you don't put more of that color in the bank, not by abandoning a star and not by, in this case, sacrificing a ship. Putting that yellow back in the bank is what let Juan snatch the victory back. If Fiend had done the safer looking obvious thing and just captured the two invaders, then Fiend would have been just fine. But if this were my play, I would have done that because I was trying to be fancy and say, oh, well, I know that you're no danger, so I'm going to move in. And then, obviously, putting the yellow back in the bank was fatal. Wow. If fiendmonger, I don't know if you're a viewer at all. If you are, I'm sorry that this happened to you. But thank you for playing this game, letting us learn from it. And thank you to all of my viewers for watching.